This is Improving Network Security at North Carolina A&T State University. Let's talk about the alpha phase of our project. This project explored the implementation of new network security procedures. The current network was examined for vulnerabilities, and some current issues are found during that phase. Students could perform network security scans and see all professor and administrator computers/printers on a network. Harmful websites could be accessed on the university's network. Ports on various computers and cabinets containing switches and routers were unsecure. Any Ethernet cords could be unplugged from the back of a PC in any computer lab to bypass the Aggie login process to get on the student network. We discussed these problems with the IT, and some of these issues have been fixed and some of the issues they're working on. Most harmful websites that we were accessing on the network, we talked with the IT and they've corrected this issue. The cabinet containing the switches and the routers have been locked. There's still a problem with the Ethernet cords being unplugged from the back of computers in the computer labs to bypass the Aggie login process. That's still an issue, but they're working on that. And most of the professor and administrator computers you can't see, but there's still a large amount of printers you can see on the network. So for the beta phase of our project, we came up with a problem, and the problem was we needed to implement a device that will run network monitoring/intrusion detection software on the school's network. And our solution was to use a Raspberry Pi with Kali Linux operating system. And we chose this operating system because it's free. And Kali Linux also comes pre-installed with Nmap. And we decided to also install Snort. And it has a free version, and it can be run on Kali Linux. Here's the hardware we used. It was Raspberry Pi Model 3. And here's some information about that model. And as I said, Nmap came pre-installed on Kali Linux. So what is Nmap? It's an open source tool for vulnerability scanning and network discovery. Nmap, or Network Mapper, it can be used to monitor single hosts as well as vast networks that encompass hundreds of thousands of devices and multitudes of subnets. At the heart of Nmap, it is a port scanning tool. The packets that Nmap sends out return with IP addresses and a wealth of other data. It allows you to identify all sorts of network attributes, giving you a sort of a profile or a map, if you will, of a network. And it allows you to create hardware and software inventory. The other software we use, again, was Snort, and it's also open source. And it's an intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system, and it has the ability to perform real-time traffic analysis and packet logging on internet protocol networks. Snort can be configured in 3 main modes: sniffer, packet logger, and network intrusion detection. In sniffer mode, the program will read network packets and display them on the console. In packet logger mode, the program will load packets on the disk. In intrusion detection mode, the program will monitor network traffic and analyze it against a rule set defined by the user. You can define your own rules, or if you're unsure what kind of rules needed for your network, there's predefined rules that already come with Snort. And they're updated generally by a community. You can download these rule sets from the Snort website. And the program will then perform a specific action based on what has been identified in Snort. Alright, and here is our project demo. This is what our Raspberry Pi 3 looks like outside of its casing, what one would look like outside of its casing. This is what our setup looks like inside of a casing with it's in Smith Lab on the 3rd floor. We have an Ethernet cord plugged into it and a nice screen on it so you can see the software when we run it. Here it is in the terminal on Kali Linux, and we're getting ready to start Snort. so it can run in real time and you can see it on the screen. Here we go. And that's snort in real time. It's monitoring the network right now. And we have a keyboard connected to it from the lab and a mouse. And if we needed to power it without it being plugged in, we have a battery. But right now we actually have it plugged in to a socket in the wall. So it's running that way. But potentially it could be wireless. But so you can get a better look at the terminal. We SSH'd in. And here's what the terminal looks like in Kali. And we're getting ready to start snort up. And here it is running in real time. And it's just running through all of our predefined rules and scanning all the IP addresses on our network. Alright. One of the IP addresses we wanted to address was the IP address of the printer in Smith Lab, and that's the IP address for the printer in Smith Lab. And we saved the information to a text called Gina2 txt. And see, we went in the terminal and you could see it saved all that information to that text file. Pulling that IP address up on my laptop, you can see I can actually get right into the printer settings, which we should not be able to do. So I'm just showing you here. And see, under security, here is where someone should actually be putting a password on a printer so it doesn't show up the IP address and people can't be all in the printer. But here's all the information about the printer, the subnet mask, the gateway, the IP address. This shouldn't be available to anybody. Alrighty. Now on to the next part. This is Nmap. So we're going to run the IP address of my device, and from my device we're going to sort of map out from there. So I started with an intent scan. And see, it shows a port 22. You can see it's open. You can see smith.edge.ncat.edu. It gives you an IP address of a PC near the device that I'm actually using. I do another scan here. And you see other IP addresses on the network are popping up. You can see them, the 10.148, 110. It's showing, it's scanning, going through my ports. It's taking a while. It takes a while to do the scans. But if you could see earlier at the first scan I did on the 10th scan, it actually showed the operating system I was using, Kali. Like I said, Nmap can actually tell you what port as well as what operating system some of the devices on your network are using. And it gave, I believe, two other IP addresses of devices near my device. And I'm doing a trace route, so it'll show later when I click on topology. So here we go. Here's two IP addresses near my starting IP address, which is 10.148.10.162. That's my starting IP address, and there's two IP addresses near it. So when I click on topology, it'll show us the topology of those devices near mine. I believe it actually, let's see. Yeah, it says Smith Edge ncat.edu. So it's telling you that's the name of a computer in the Smith lab. And I believe it showed earlier in the scan, but it was showing Kali Linux and it's Debian based. It actually gave the, I don't know if you called it in a video, it actually gave the operating system. Here it is right here. It says Debian 3, so it actually gave like the version of the Linux operating system. Kali Linux is Debian based, so it really gives you, like it says, a wealth of data about your device. And port 22, like it says right here, is telling you what that port is. It's a open SSH port. It makes sense because we're actually SSH into this device. And that's our demo. Thank you.